Okay, well, there's a little intro music for everyone. Happy Saturday or Sunday. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome
Are we
to
live?
the.
It
We are
doesn't say we're
live.
live on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's got to get it together.
Well, I mean, it says that we're live here. I could end the stream right now if you'd like. I can prove you
No, no,
that
no,
we're
don't
live.
stop anything. Don't stop
Wait, see,
anything.
my phone just said happening now. Career
Oh no, no,
Seattle
no! It
coaching.
just updated. Okay, look. So we're okay. We're live now. Now there's a
It's
delay.
that
See, I'm learning,
Seattle.
guys.
No, it's that Seattle. You're behind the times thing.
Oh, don't start. West Coast will eat you up. East Coast, all them Biggie friends are in trouble. Don't start.
Oh,
Don't start. All right, that's
I
fine.
like this. We're the same size this way. I like this better.
Oh, you see, listen, I have a bigger circle than Felipe and upset. I came prepared, bold, big, ready. Hi G. I see her down there. Look, this is cool. I get to see comments. She says we sound good. That's awesome.
I'm sure. Well, and why is my chat not showing me the comments here? Oh, wait. There's a way to do this. Hold on here. Stand by. No, that's not it. Oh, there's
Christy,
Christy. I
look.
see Christy.
Hey, I see
Christy!
people. Oh no. Oh no, I'm excited about this change. What happens if I like this?
I told you might like it, okay?
No,
See,
don't
it's not
I
that
told you
bad.
so. That's the one you get for my circle being bigger than yours. That's it. That's the one.
That's the only I told you so I get. Oh no,
I know I
I,
have not decided that I love this. I do love that I get to see comments and know what they're talking about, right? So
Annette. So Annette is one of the people that I think Annette. We are taking a lead from you. This is a audio only, no video. We're going to try to do that because that's what we've done, and I think that as long as we set the expectation that we're going to invite you all up here, but we don't want you to turn on the camera. We'd love to see your faces, but today we just want to hear your wonderful voices. Right, Houston?
yeah, I don't like to make eye contact when we talk about the deepest things in the world all the time, if I'm being honest. So seeing the faces, it's relative for me. I'll be honest. I don't need to stare at you to make impact, but some people like to stare at us. And so there's my big circle and Felipe's little circle. You'll need a magnifying glass to see him in the corner, but you see me. I'm right there.
Oh dear Lord, she's talking about these circles here. See, I have a time. She had to be big and grand, and I let her be the spotlight. So
I made
I'm
sure I was relevant to the size of the stage I was going to be on. It's good balance and marketing. And you're just so small. Like without your name tag, I'd be like, it's a yellow dot. I'm old, right? You just kind of, I don't know.
yeah
He
yeah
tried to
yeah
be
yeah.
big. They wouldn't let him. He totally wanted to be big too, but he's got to wait to grow up. Sorry, Felipe, I'm
I'm the older brother. Hello, please. I'm waiting for you to grow up here. Come on now. So
it's never going to happen. Everybody knows I am not going to grow up. I'll just evolve as I go. But
well,
good morning.
listen. So for those of you that I want to thank for being here, and Lisa, it's so great to see you. Happy Sunday to you as well. We did this last minute. Melissa and I have been talking about we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We just weren't sure how to do it. And I have been procrastinating a little bit. Well, not procrastinating. I've been really busy and dealing with a lot of stuff. And this morning she's like, "So are we going live today or not?" And I'm like, should we do it next Sunday? And she's like, well, I have family commitments. I'm like, all right. So that's why I got posted literally 1 hour before we started. So thank you for those of you that are here. And oh, I always forget we get to show the comments. So first, let's say show. Um, wait, where is it? Hold on a second.
See, this is the part I didn't want to have to do. So I love that I get to
There you
do
go.
this
See,
first with
there you
Felipe
go. So now
hosting.
we have Christy saying hello. We have Annette saying woohoo, happy holidays. And she's saying bravo for going audio only because that was her expectations for monthly audio rooms. She wants to keep on doing them, but she doesn't want the video on. And she does plenty of lives. I mean, she's a live pro. So, and Lisa, I think that you are going to have a lot of fun with the video if you continue doing your rooms. I think there's something about seeing your animated personality come to life. I think you'll do amazing. Um, and Annette says she's using her Santa avatar for audio with Jillian on Wednesday. Oh, I will definitely check it out. See, that's the other thing. We can use, I mean, we can always change our avatars, but here we have a little more flexibility so it doesn't necessarily change our avatar on LinkedIn. So we could have some fun with that, Houston.
Listen, I said we should have been our Bitmoji selves today. I wanted to go cartoon versions of us because we've done that from time to time. And that's really maybe what I'm going to do personally because it's different. And I said it here first, right? I've always brought the cartoons to LinkedIn. I was one of the first to do so. If you want to go back and look, they've deleted that. And so it's too bad. You got to take my word or ask my friends. But the reality is, do it your way, guys. Whatever it is, use the tools in front of you your own way. I hate the paint and sip and drink by numbers because while they tell you, like, hey, do it your way, and it all is a little different in the end, it's still a paint by numbers. I'm like, forget the numbers. Can I erase the numbers and do it completely different than what the leader's telling me? And that's always been my rule. Ask my teachers. They hated I did it my way, but it works. And that's too bad. So do it your way, guys. That's my thing for the day. That's the number one kickoff. If I'm going to do restream and live, haha, I still got to not be live. Felipe,
Well,
you made it happen, but I still got it my way. I don't know.
yeah, well, yeah, well, yeah, I've gotten you live a couple times, but you know what? Here's some more comments. We have Gurpreet, saying hello to us, and she also says she misses LinkedIn audio rooms. But here's the thing, Gurpreet. Normally, y'all we see you in the audience. I would not know how you're feeling today. I know you're missing LinkedIn audio rooms, so this part of the engagement I'm kind of liking because I get to see and hear what the audience thinks even if y'all don't come up on stage. And then here's one of our favorites, Marcia. It's so nice to see you, Marcia, as always, my DC
Hey,
buddy.
girl.
So we're gonna be dropping the link in the chat or in the comments of the post, so y'all can join us on stage if you want in a minute. But before we do that, I want to say hello to Zakia. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you being here, and remind you all that these rooms are being recorded, so you will be able to listen to them in the past. We might be a little more careful about what we say sometimes, maybe.
I can't promise. Like, that's the biggest thing, guys. I might get kicked off here. You better be following us on our other platforms at some point because LinkedIn's going to get angry. I think we call some people out. Um, Not in the benign name, right? No names. It's just we talk about it, like LinkedIn, taking away something that was really useful and never making it as useful as it could have been by indexing it in a way that
But we're
audio
more
events could have been
professional
sold.
about it. We're
We
not
are
catty.
ish.
And we're honest. And the feedback and the coaching and the career information we provide is valuable. And I think people will be able to go back and revisit that, and hopefully more people will start resonating with what we share, and they might start enjoying a little bit of the craziness and the chaos. Um, so as far as the topic today, I just threw it up there because I want to know, Houston, what are you doing for the holidays? What's your plan for the new year? Does it include my mom hitting me in the head again? I don't know. And I do want to touch a little bit about, and I don't want to make the whole room about this, but I want to remind people because God knows we know that you are all about document and act. I'm all about talking about goal setting, but let's not procrastinate and wait until January 1st or after. Let's start doing it now so that we can hit January 1st running. And that I think is a huge thing is take some time to think about what do you want to do next year and come up with a plan, document it, write it down so that when January 2nd, I'm not gonna say January 1st because we cover a little bit. January 2nd, you hit that ground running and you are able to say, hey, I already know what I want to do. Now I can start working towards it. But what do you
I'm
think,
going to
Houston?
double dare you to get your content posted December 31st before you say cheers. So just, January 1's autopilot still running from day one. You're hitting the ground. But honestly, you're right. Goal setting for my clients for 2025 started in November because we plan marketing out, right, guys? If you're in business, you're always a couple of months in advance. You're never looking at the end of the year like, okay, now I get to start this new room and enter the door immediately upon the evolution of the year. No, you're planning ahead. You always are. And so if you've been waiting until now to figure out what next year is going to bring, you're behind. Sorry to tell you, you're actually late. But it's not too late to get started, right? You still have time to prep. You might not have the marketing runway or the build out time that others had, but that's okay. You can get it done. For me, Felipe, I am going to use the books we published this year. And I say we because you were in both with me, and that's so cool. We have that overlap forever. But I'm going to push those books. I'm going to grow the on-site presentations. I want to do some meet the authors. I want to do some book signings. I want to get out there and grow my speaking engagements, do some more on-site gigs, and work with people who are transitioning through some of the harder stuff in life. I really, surviving the things I have in my lifetime, I think I could really be of benefit to people overcoming abuse, dealing with housing transitions, maybe not being as stable as they once were because of COVID and those things. And so really that's kind of my primary focus. I'm also going to be shifting, hopefully, from my day job back into coaching full time because I miss it and I loved it. And I did it for a decade as a primary source of income. So that's really my stuff. And I've been working on it all year to get these books launched, to get that plan of action ready, because without the product, I can't sell. What about you?
Woohoo! I'm excited for you. So before
Thank
I share real quick, Marcia was laughing at us when we were talking about stuff. I wanted to share that. But Zakia, I'm so glad I pronounced your name properly. I'm always somebody who, my name gets chopped up all the time, so I can relate. And Annette, good advice, Annette. I like this. Talk like nobody's listening. And, in the sense of be yourself, be free. At the end of the day, we're professionals. We're not out there trying to be malicious, hurtful people. So I think we should have that confidence. So thank you for that confidence boost there, Annette. And Mohammed, thank you so much for joining us. It's so great to see you here. Good morning to you, or good day. And so as far as what I've got going on, so let's start off with the holidays. All right, Houston. I don't know how many of you all are big holiday nuts or not, but my wife and I we went out to dinner last night. She surprised me and took me to a holiday concert of the Washington Chorus. And I gotta say, the Washington Chorus sounds stuffy, old, kind of like, don't say like me, Houston. But I beat you too. I took that away from you. I felt like I opened myself up and I had to take it away from you. But it was so impressive to see not only the volume of people there that of different generations that are part of this chorus, the amazing band, the engaging conductor who got everyone to stand up in the audience to sing. People wanted to dance. And they had high school choruses come in. They did songs about Kwanzaa, about Hanukkah, about Christmas. So, and they were just amazing and it was fun. And so I share that with you because my wife was talking about, I was like, yeah, the holiday season isn't for everyone. And I said, I get it. But during the holidays, factually, more people are kinder, more people are reaching out, more people are trying to do something a little bit nicer. So what I've done, and I have done for the last 30 years, is the day after Thanksgiving, I start decorating for Christmas for two reasons. One, I want to get into that holiday spirit and get other people into that spirit as early as possible. And two, all the work that we put into decorating, I want to enjoy the stuff for as long as possible before we have to take it down. And I don't want to be that person that takes it down in February and people are like, oh, come on, Mr. Cofino, can you please take down your decorations? It's kind of embarrassing to walk by your house in our neighborhood. So
Felipe, can I tell you, it may have been like July when my tree finally came down. It was a running joke. I had asked.
Your tree?
Listen, don't judge. Listen. So I love the tree, but it was hold on. I'm explaining.
Okay.
It was a rough season last year, right? So we had our tree up and it was just pretty. And in the Pacific Northwest, the winters, just like the Northeast, they go long. And so it was kind of nice just to have the white glow of the tree, just kind of lighting up the room. No expectations of the holiday stress, which it kind of comes with the tree sometimes. And so it's just a nice place to hang out and be in the glitter and the sparkle of the tree. But at some point I was like, hey guys, I would like to take the tree down this weekend. And my family didn't hear me say that. And so they were waiting for me to say, let's take down the tree. And I was just like, who am I to tell them to take down the tree if they're enjoying it so much and it's their mental health space or whatever it is, right? Like, who am I? And so finally I was like, guys, can we really take down the tree? It's like summer. And they laughed and they said, we've been waiting for you to say it. I was like, I said it months ago. So it was lack of communication, but also it wasn't that bothersome, right? And if somebody else's joy bothers you to the point where you have to ruin it, I don't know. It just made me have a perspective. Like, what if we just had a holiday tree? What if we just made it 4th of July-ish in July and then took the 4th of July-ish down September after Labor Day, right? It's patriotic all summer. I don't know, but just do
No,
it
you
your
know
way
what?
is my rule anyway.
You're,
So don't
you're not
judge.
alone. You're not
That's
alone,
it.
and I'm not going to judge. So let me explain two things. One, I have a friend who I just spoke to last week who told me that she really decorates for the holidays, but she has Christmas trees for each holiday throughout the year. So she has a patriotic one for Fourth of July. She has, one for Halloween. She has one for Thanksgiving, and there's a very close friend of hers who was in a horrible, horrible situation that caused her to be incarcerated temporarily. And for the year that she was incarcerated, she knew how much she loved the holidays. She has decorated a holiday tree for her for every holiday. So then when she comes home this weekend, they're going to have a Christmas holiday event, but they're going to show her all the trees that they decorated for her so that she could kind of celebrate the holidays with her again in person. So there's something to what you're saying.
See, that's
But
beautiful. And honestly, it's
now,
up to you guys. Don't let anybody tell you what to do in your own house as long as it's legal. Really? Like,
exactly.
really.
Well, I mean, the people living in the house do have a say, so do communicate, like you said, because you don't want to do something that just annoys the hell out of other people in the house all year long. But
Yes,
here's
you
the
do,
thing.
Felipe. I know your family. And to answer your question about your mom, I'm going to have to ask her if she needs to smack you on top of the head before I dare her to do so. So she has plausible
Hey,
deniability, and I
hey,
can take the heat.
can we get through the kindness of Christmas and the holidays before we get to the violence of New Year's, please? Okay. So, with the holiday season, though, I will say I have a number of family members that are Hallmark addicts. No judgment. I think, kudos to Hallmark for doing something that so many people love. They have cruises, they have all that stuff. And so, at the end of the day, I see that. Now, my father was a holiday nut as far as celebrating it, being joyful. So I got that spirit from him. However, my father-in-law, God rest his soul, he was the one that when you walked into the house, I'm like, did we just walk into a Hallmark movie? Because this is insane. And he's also the one who taught me how to create the image of an impressive, fun, exciting time on Christmas morning for the children. Not that there's so many presents, but to make it look grandiose, to make it look like Santa or whoever did actually stop by and like, oh my gosh, look at how big everything is. It might only be 4 or 5 presents, but when you stack them just right, he taught me how to stack and how to bring out all the other decorations throughout the house, put them around the tree for that morning so that when they come out, it looks like someone came in and did something for the kids. So with all of that, what I do every year now is I literally turned this house into a Hallmark house. I mean, my wife like is helpful with a lot of stuff and she enjoys it and she loves it. But she's like, you got your system, you got it going. You tell me what you need help with, and I just basically every hallway has an archway with lights and garland. We had houses that my father-in-law would give us every year instead of doing a big village. We just houses throughout the different place, corners in the hallway lit up. I mean, it's you feel it when you walk in. And at the end of the day, little Christmas music, holiday music in the background, the
Okay.
look, the look on people's faces, the reactions on how they feel, the smiles. That's what I go for. It's I go for. I gave somebody just a little bit better of a day. Now, go ahead and judge.
I'm not judging because honestly, what I love is I will tell you I go to thrift stores throughout the year and I love them. It's a place where I can go through all of grandma's things with permission, right? Like I don't know how else to put it mentally, but it's just like Christmas. Every weekend I get to go find all these treasures. And every time I go to the record section. And every time I go, I find Christmas records, right? Because that is something that I feel like when records were purchased, nobody really talked about them, but everybody had them. And so I go in and I grab those old records and I have a legitimate turntable and I put them on. And there's nothing quite like the sound of those old records playing during Christmas time. And so absolutely part of the scene we set in the morning. Something else I want to share, and this was given to me by my son's godmother years ago. My son is 24. He has 3 children of his own. And so I have grandbabies that get to experience Christmas. But one of the things we always did was reindeer food. Everybody focuses on Santa, and we didn't want to. I have a big thing about milk. I don't know if I've ever shared this, but because of that, I didn't want to leave milk out for Santa. It was really gross in my brain to leave milk on the counter. And so we did reindeer food, and it was oats and maybe some M&Ms or whatever morsels you had, sprinkles from the cookies that you made, all of the stuff, right? You just pull out all the baking stuff and anything that's shiny, sparkly, fun, colorful, sweet, any goodies you can find, you leave in there. And then we also would split the oats into different bowls, and I'd let them dye the different oats different colors. And so when they put it in the bowl, it was like this rainbow glittery feed. I can't even talk today. I'm so excited. And we would take it outside and we would put it on the sidewalk or in the grass or wherever it was for the reindeer. And because there was glitter in the feed, after the reindeer ate the food overnight, the next morning they went out to go look. All they would see is this shiny little space where the oats used to live. And they knew they did their part to feed the people who were pulling Santa's sleigh, or the animals that were pulling Santa's sleigh. And it was our way of doing Christmas, a little different, a little fun. They got to get in the kitchen and measure and be confident in mixing and using these tools, right? It was actually a learning experience. It's almost like baking, but without the fire or the risk. And so you get to just let them do. And it's one of those moments for me, the memories of creating the food, that I relish personally, but the kids don't forget it. And they even talk to other kids about it, like, what? You didn't leave reindeer's food? Oh, crazy. They must have been so hungry by your house. And it's just the sweetest thing. So I love those moments. I think we got to create them ourselves. But really, what you said, Grandma helped me figure out too early. And then when I was with my husband for our first Christmas together, his mom came out and she had never seen a Christmas do what that Christmas did. Her living room was like half filled with presents. It just kind of pulled itself away from the tree. And it was very much a strategic placement. I went to Walgreens back then, and if you buy 3, you got 2 free or something. And so you would buy these toys for $6 each and then get a bunch of extras for free. And I just bought for the nieces and the nephews, and we just had a blast. But it doesn't have to be a lot, guys. It doesn't. And it's got to be something they remember. And I can tell you, they remember the reindeer food more than any gift that was under that tree. I promise.
All right. So, and that's why I think is those memories are the ones that stand and stay with us. That's a lot of what I do, is because of the memories that people created with me when I was younger. And, I've always thought traditions are nice. I tried to create one when we first got married. It didn't work. And then one tradition that I know I shared this with you, Houston, and Larry, he was like, he wanted to see what the Hallmark house looked like. That's the scary part about these videos, Houston. We can turn on our cameras very easily, but I'm going to turn on my camera because I want to share something with people. Just for those of you that maybe are starting out in your life, in your first home, maybe for the holidays, maybe you don't have a lot of money. Our first Christmas, we didn't have any money. We were butt poor, and we had a Christmas tree that had like pitiful ornaments on it. And I remember that when you get a Christmas tree, they cut off the like an inch or two of the trunk so that it can drink water. Well, I always ask, what do y'all do with those little chunks that you cut off? Like, oh, we just throw them away. So I kept our first one, and I wrote it with Sharpies, and I said, there, we have an ornament for our first ornament. And then when our daughter was born, I did it again. And then the next year, and the next year. So what it looks like, I'm going to try to do this here. Let's see here. I really don't want to be on camera myself, so I'm going to try to do this in a way that only shows.
I'm so grateful that my laptop's camera is not working.
What the heck is that?
Because even if I wanted to, oh, this is fantastic. You are your background now. This is so good.
Wait. The background that I tried to use, how did that happen? Hold on.
Felipe likes himself. He made fun of my big head, and look at, he is just layered.
What the heck? How did that happen?
That's what you get for being jealous in my circle. That's what you get.
All right, so let me try to delete that background and try that again, because that was scary.
Why don't you just drop it in the comments? This is the cool part about a live.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll just do that. Good Lord, thank you for making that a lot easier.
Optimization right here. I'm helping optimize on the go, guys.
All right, so let me finish this so we can have some people come up and join us, and then I can put some shots in there. So the great thing about those ornaments is that I now have 26 years of ornaments that are made from the chunk of wood that was cut off at the bottom of the tree. I'm not saying that if you don't have Christmas trees or live trees or you don't celebrate Christmas, that, get creative, come up with something else that's natural. Because I got to tell you, I've had trees fall and ornaments break throughout the years. These wood ornaments, they don't break. And they're great memories. When you look at them, you're like, oh, that was our trip to New York when Grandpa took us on the snowmobiles. Or, hey, that was the trip that we went down to Florida. Or that's when we had Snowmageddon. Or that was Copper's first Christmas. Remember when we got him? And when the family talks about those memories, it's amazing how each person remembers different things. So that's a little bit about that. As far as the new year,
Okay.
well,
Before we move on, I got to tell you two things. Number one, I just realized something. My mother-in-law's dog, when I met my husband, was Copper. So I just made that correlation when you were talking holidays
oh,
and the puppy. Yeah. Number two, I think it's really important to have those things. But can I also just touch on what you said? You guys were having maybe a tight Christmas, right? Your ornament was that one piece of wood. And I got to tell you guys, I've had those Christmases as an entrepreneur myself. And I remember when I was driving cab, which was my first solopreneur experience, I had been robbed in that quarter. I was in a car accident that gave me PTSD in that quarter. And we were struggling. If I didn't work, we didn't have income. My husband was a stay-at-home dad at that time because our baby was so young. And I've always been the hungry entrepreneur and I've always wanted to do it my way. So I was the one out there trying to make it happen. And that Christmas was the hardest we had ever had. And I remember we had two presents. We got a $10 doll from what was once Pick and Save. I don't know if you guys know it, but now it's Big Lots. We got a $10 doll and we got a $10 memory foam pillow that we ended up sharing as a gift, like we took turns using it. Um, but it really was that tough. And I just want to say it out loud because the economy is not much different than back then when I was starting. There are a lot of entrepreneurs in their first year going, oh my gosh, I'm not as successful as who I'm seeing on the internet. Two things: the internet is subjective and it's very much the scope they're providing you. Number two, it's okay to have rough times. It's not about the gifts, it's about the people. And now that my mom's gone, I don't care what I didn't get for Christmas. I don't care what I did get for Christmas. What I care about is the fact that she was there on Christmas. And so just keep perspective this season. No matter where you're standing financially, no matter how hard this year seems, you're not alone. We're here to help. This is a free space to get that support, but also DM us if you're struggling, because whether you can pay or not, if you're in a tough spot, we want to know and we'll talk to you. Right. So just that reminder too, Felipe, I love that you brought it up because it's not always a perfect Christmas. It's not always Hallmark. Sometimes my family was the furthest from a Hallmark. It was more like crime TV. So deep breaths, guys. It'll be okay. Promise.
all right. And, we talked about goals. We talked about everything else. I'm going to put the link here into the comments. So if any of you all would like to join us, we would love to have you come up here. Again, no videos are required. Actually, they're discouraged, if anything. So feel free to join us there. And I'm putting it right now as we speak into, I'm not going to put it into the comments of the chat. I'm going to put it into the comments of the actual post because you can't copy and paste from the chat. So just a reminder about that. But I got my camera working, so it doesn't have my big ass face showing everywhere.
You have a beautiful face, Felipe. You should just let it shine. It's fine.
Then why do you always want my mother to hit it?
Pretty people, what? What? You feel like you get out of trouble if you're pretty? Is that what you just said, Mr. HR on camera?
That is so
What?
not what I said. Oh my gosh, stop putting words in my mouth. Okay. All right. While we wait for people to join us on stage, we would love for you. I just put the chat or the link in there. All you have to do is click it and then have your microphone on and we can have you join us. But real quick, so I just want to show you some of these ornaments I was telling you about because like this one here is one that we have with our dogs, that we took up to New York. I have the 2020 pandemic Christmas with pandemic things on here. Some kids got creative and created little faces for different years. So they're nothing overly fancy, but like my favorite one is my daughter's first Christmas. You know, so it's memories that you can create. I'll put posts of the downstairs because this is the tree this is a fake tree that these ornaments go on because there were so many of them that my wife was like, we need to put them somewhere else because they're taking up too much space on the live tree, and she wants the nice ornaments on the live tree. Not that these aren't nice, but the other ones look a little bit nicer.
Can I just say though, as somebody who's super sentimental of family time, as a child in that home, to have those forever ornaments long after you're gone is going to be pretty cool. Also, Marcia's having
don't get
issues getting
discouraged if you get a bad chunk. I turn one into a Pac-Man. So if the wood breaks and you're like, oh my God, it's not perfect, just go with the flow, you all. Make the best out of a bad situation.
That's it. And I love that you're in a hoodie today. Also, Marcia cannot get in, so I'm going to have you do that because I'm new here. I don't know. I don't do this, Marcia, or I would help more. I don't know. I know that M mutes my microphone. That is the long and the short of my restream capabilities today. We'll keep growing together, Felipe, but I'm glad you're producing.
I'm trying to see where Marcia is because I don't see her. Marcia,
she's in the comments section, so go find her in the comments because she's trying. But guys, do you have questions? Do you have goals that you're trying to accomplish and you're like, I don't know, this is my goal, but is it silly? How would I get it done? This is the time. This is free coaching right now. And you have quite a bit of time left. I can't believe we have an hour and a half left to do this. So guys, where are your friends? Invite them. I'm never on these things. This is kind of fun.
All right. So if you go to the actual event in the comments, the link is there. If you're not able to access it, Marcia, I'm sending it to you right now directly. Let us know in the comments, and I'll be happy to send it to you in the DM, and that way you can join us right away.
Annette's asking a question. How do you keep the image on the screen? Annette, can you clarify which image? If you're talking about mine, I don't exactly have a camera.
She's talking about this image. So Annette, at least with Restream, on the left-hand side, you have a side panel that says add scenes. Normally it just has the normal scene of like two images next to each other if you have two co-hosts. But I added a scene and added just the graphic, and now it gives me an option of just putting the graphic up only. So I kind of like that for audio only because you see who we are. And then when we have guests come up, we can change it so that the guest's name can come up.
I like that too, Felipe. And honestly, if they don't know which one of us is speaking because our circle doesn't light up in this static image, then that's tough, right? But usually by the comment section that we have, or the comments we speak back and forth, we can tell who's who. But I do think for like screen readers,
if you do this with the normal picture like I have, you can see that I'm speaking. But when you have to put a superimposed giant picture of yourself over that, you don't see the audio vibration.
But I'm wondering about a screen reader, because that's something for like our friends, David Pushkin. He's been a big fan of the show, right? But I know there's some people who use those. And how does Restream work around that? Are they capturing the closed caption? Is that something that's easy enough? They can tell who's talking that way? Because that's something I'm not aware of, but we could do that on a different show, just a concept I hadn't engaged with, but I want to be accessible to all communities as we grow forward. So,
all right, well, we have some people here. I'm going to try to see if I can make this work here. And we have a few people. We have Marcia Lee and Annette Richmond. So Marcia and Annette, would let you both join us. But Marcia, you have the first chance to join us on our first live audio video Chaos Careers and Coaching. So please unmic and share your thoughts. What's going on with you this holiday season? Oh, Marcia, you there? We heard you for a second, Marcia.
I ain't got time.
Oh, wait, we heard you there for a second. No, now we can hear you, I think. Are you there? All right. Well,
Hello.
Oh, yes.
Hi.
There you are. Hi, Marcia. Oh, we lost her again.
I know she's
Marcia?
not far because I can see she's there.
I mean, yeah.
This
and
is
I
the
can
fun
hear-
of growth, though. If I didn't, I told Felipe I had to come early because I didn't want to mess anything up. And honestly, it's not too hard, but it is hard to like authorize it the first time for your audio video. So something that if you haven't joined before, you might want to practice on this stage. We're happy to be that place, but definitely going to be needed to get it figured out to be able to join the event. But keep trying. We want to hear from you.
And once you figure it out, you can do it. Like I'm doing this entire thing from my iPad, y'all. I'm not even doing it from my laptop. So they've made it easier. And there are some that you can even do it on your phone, and it works just fine too. So, but Annette, welcome on stage. So great to see you. How are you? I love your emoji. I love the holiday one. But tell us your thoughts about holidays, about audio rooms, anything. The mic is yours.
Oh my goodness. So I'm so excited to jump up here. I'll tell you, I hope people do give this new audio a chance. I've heard rumblings of people that are migrating back to Clubhouse, but I don't know. So I love Christmas. I mean, one of the great things about having an artificial tree, I swore I'd never have one, but we got one about, I don't know, probably almost 10 years ago, is that you can put it up at Thanksgiving and it stays up until like mid-January. And since it's pre-lit, you just put it up and then you finish the decorating, at your leisure. So I love what you said about the Hallmark house. I'm curious to see what that's like. Maybe you could share some photos on LinkedIn of that. I mean, I love those sappy Hallmark holiday movies. Don't tell anybody I watch them. It's just between us, so don't tell anybody. But oh my goodness, I do love them so. And I just have one question for you. It's a technical thing. How did you keep the image on screen? Your graphic on screen. Did you have it as an overlay or what did you do?
So you're talking about when I do, wait, let's see here. I think it's this one here. When I do this, did it work?
When you had your image on with the two of you speaking. Yeah, like that. How did you do
Like
that?
So
Yeah.
on the left-hand side, there's a panel that says add scenes, and you can add, and when you add a scene, I added a scene with just this graphic only. And once that was on the side panel, it gives you an option to load it like this as just only this.
So my question is though, how did you keep it on the screen while you and Melissa were on the screen also?
Because it once you add it as an option, so like there's the welcome screen that it preloads when you start Restream or StreamYard. Right,
Yep.
I didn't realize until today that right below the welcome screen, you can add additional screens. And so
yeah.
So when you add a screen, upload an image of your graphic and only your graphic and nothing else. And when you go to that screen, it gives you options below for different frames. And one of the frames is just the image without you or the co-host.
Well, see,
I'll take a screenshot of this and show it and send it to you.
Yeah. So I'm curious because I know about scenes and I learned that you can actually have it go from one scene to another. So if you have your intro, then you can set it to automatically go back to the camera. So I've learned like all of that, but I'm just perplexed as to how to do half a screen with the image and half a screen with two people talking.
Well, the image is just
in the scene. Okay.
So Felipe, can you put our banner up and have all three of us speaking to show what the audience what she's talking about, like the static audio event banner, and then the speakers added. So guys,
like that.
this is the option, and this right here is the closest to the old version, old school audio you're gonna get on a Restream. But if you miss it, stop running away This is the video LinkedIn's promoting. This is the stuff that you've always loved. And you can repurpose this content. When I go back and I'm like, what did Felipe say he did? And I'm teaching myself Restream. When Annette goes back to replay this, she can do her Restream while this is playing and follow along just like you would YouTube. And it's going to be a great resource. And so stop running away. Stop leaving the platform you're already monetizing to go to other spots. If you do it, bring it back here anyway and still have this set up.
Here's another little setup here. I just wanted to share my favorite little Rudolph here. So I'll just show you little bits and pieces of that as we go throughout the day. But Annette,
bring that mustache back. What is that mustache on your face?
It's the goatee with the gray hair on the chin. It's not a mustache. Leave it alone. I'm sensitive about it. So we have some other people on stage, but Annette, I hope that you continue to do the audio rooms. I think you and Jillian do an amazing job. And I think that this format here, again, play around with it. This is how I figured it out. I just played around with it, made mistakes, and figured, that's how that works. And if all else fails, Google it, YouTube it. There's people out there that probably already figured it out for us. So, all right. Well, Annette, any last words before we bring on our next speaker?
No, I just want to thank you so much for letting me pop up like this and say hi. I couldn't resist, and I will be playing around that. I got my intro set, my outro set for Wednesday, and I'm excited. So have a great holiday. Maybe I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye. And that's why we need to learn from Annette is we need to have a good intro and outro for our rooms now that we have the option of doing it, Houston. So
I know some people that could maybe help us out, actually. I've been working with some of my clients to do this kind of stuff. Right. This is not going anywhere. And like I said, as soon as I heard in the wind that this was happening, I got quiet. I don't know if anybody else noticed, but Felipe, you and I haven't even really talked about this. This happened to be the way you had already been playing with your other live streams, right? And so this was easy enough, but we hadn't discussed beyond that. We had talked about leaving the platform and maybe diversifying anyway before the big stuff was coming out, but everybody was going to shift. I wanted to grow, and you have to reach further to do that. Restream, StreamYard, the other options that LinkedIn is providing will allow you to go to those other platforms automatically. You won't have to be in all places at once. You will have to get a plan together, circle back to the other platforms to make sure the comments are being responded to. People in your DMs are hearing from you. But guys, this is a growth moment, and it hurts to grow. It does. You're going to have to learn new tips when you get promoted and tasks and skill sets. That's the same with what LinkedIn just did. They said, we're evolving. Are you coming with us? They didn't say you're not welcome. They gave you resources to come along, and they didn't even charge you beyond the platforms that they need you to use to make it happen. And so, guys, let's just be grateful, right? Let's grow together. Let's make this happen. But I do got to say, Felipe, I think this is my favorite episode of this so far because it is about your career. It is about the chaos that is LinkedIn and figuring out Restream on the grow. But it's also coaching the people who are watching us to figure out how we're going to move forward. And we get to do this together while we're learning. And so I think this is the best example of what the show was meant to be. And so, yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, it's going well. And I forget that I can share the comment on the screen with us. So Zakia, thank you for joining us. It's great to have you on stage. Please unmic and tell us, what are you doing with the holidays? What are your plans for next year and goals or any of the above? The mic is yours.
Well, good morning or no, it would all be morning. But hello, everyone. Welcome or thank you for having me join. First, Philippe, I just wanted to say thank you for pronouncing my name correctly. Nobody ever gets it right on the first try. I was really excited because you all were using Restream. I absolutely love it. Melissa, you hit on why I joined the stage, and that's because of the sharing to multiple platforms. I think what LinkedIn did for sure was, again, show us how important it is not to have all of our eggs in one basket. And the beauty of Restream is from one platform, you're able to stream to all of the social platforms. And with Philippe showing here, you can see all of the comments. Right now, it looks like we're only on LinkedIn, but if someone were watching on YouTube as well, Restream would show you those comments so they wouldn't get lost in the sauce. You would still be able to see the people. And then another benefit of Restream is as your guests are joining, they're able to share it to their social platforms as well. So it continues to multiply that reach for individuals as they are engaging with your live stream. So I didn't answer your question, but that was why I raised my hand to join, because I see so many people are jumping on the Restream side, but it's a phenomenal tool if you use it.
That is a valuable bit of information you shared, Zakia, because you're absolutely right. And it is something that's important for people to remember, that there are other platforms out there. LinkedIn we do not own LinkedIn. LinkedIn could disappear tomorrow. And do you have anything else that you are actively on that would carry? I have leaned into YouTube whenever I Restream. The great thing about Restream, the free version, is it gives you 2 options of platforms to stream to. So I always pick YouTube and LinkedIn. StreamYard does the same thing. If you have the paid version, you can stream up, I think, to 4. So if you want to do Facebook and other areas. But so this session right now is being streamed live to my YouTube page as well as my LinkedIn page. And that will be wonderful. Now, if Melissa and I recorded or saved the recordings and downloaded them, we could repurpose parts of them if we had a really great conversation about a certain topic and we wanted to share it. So I'm so glad you brought that up, Zakia, because there's so many wonderful benefits of this that people just don't see. And again, people get to ask questions in the audience that normally, if they didn't come on stage, we would never really get a chance to hear these questions. But if you all want to see another format of how this looks, go check out my YouTube page. It's streaming there live right now as well. So, Melissa, thoughts on Zakia's share, and we can introduce our next guest.
Well, I mean, I think it's important. I will say I was a little disappointed that it did not ask me if I wanted to share it out to my platforms. And so beyond sharing to you, which I just found out you were doing to the others, nobody else on my platform is currently seeing it until I reshare it. And so something to plan. It's marketing, guys. If you're going to do this, do it as a team, Felipe. And
All right,
telling
then,
you're out there on
wait,
YouTube.
about that though, there's a cost value to be able to share. If I want to be able to share the link to you, I gotta pay. So we can split the cost.
Listen, well, and that's assuming that maybe I don't have other things already in the back end that are paid for and stuff that maybe are accessible to me. But here's the thing: if you're partnering with people, ask them where they want to stream it to, because even if we don't pay for that, I could have shared your YouTube page to my page. And there are workarounds, guys. So communicate about your marketing plan and why you're doing it. Make sure you're making those conversations happen. If you're going to partner up on a show, is it worth the investment to make the upgrade? We weren't sure what we were going to do. I like how this is working. I know that StreamYard is preferred by others. People, especially who are repurposing content, they have some ideas about which one they like better. And so depending on who you're working with or who you want to use, if they're repurposing your content with you, your marketing teams, ask them what their preference is. Because if they're working predominantly in one or the other, it might add to your decision making. And so good conversations to have. But honestly, even though it's not being broadcast live, I can always take his YouTube and repurpose it on my platform, right? And so that's the value. Get it somewhere forever. YouTube will pay you. Facebook pays me, Felipe, to post. And so that's why I'm like, yes, I want to take it to Facebook 100% because it'll pay for itself. And so things to think about while you're growing. Thank you so much, Zakia, for coming up. And I will also tell you, Felipe has not told you, but he pronounces his name Felipe. And so just something to think about, guys. Thanks so much.
Can I just add one more thought to that? And that is the recording with Restream, you're able to restream it out as a live stream. So I know some people are very uncomfortable with either being live or anything like that. You can take a recorded video and stream it out with Restream, and then you're there in the comments with your audience. The reason I do say do something like that if it appeals to you is all of the social media platforms prefer live content or short form content. So you can kind of hack the system that way, and not in a bad way and not in a negative way. You would be very transparent with your audience. that it's a recording, but it's coming across as a live stream. But thanks for having me up. I will go ahead and exit stage left.
Thank you so much, Zakia. We appreciate you being here. And with that, Melissa, I'll hand it over to you to introduce our next speaker.
Hey there, Gregory. Welcome to the stage. What are you thinking about this Restream event?
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, just checking. Just want to make sure that you could hear me and stuff. So, I will say this is I had a little peek in with the Go Brunch app. Somebody invited me in regards to that. It looks pretty well and stuff. And with this Restream, it has some hiccups and stuff. You could only stream it on a Safari browser, no Chrome, no Firefox related browser type of thing. And I will say it's a little bit odd at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's you will get terms of yes in with the apparatus per se. So it's a very unique frontier in terms of live events and stuff. And with your topic in mind, 2025 goal sharing, and I sent you the stuff that I learned about a couple of weeks ago. I will say, in the words of the current and feuded WWE Women's World Champion Liv Morgan, I think that the stuff that I learned about what I learned late November and early December, it's going to become a really, I will say, dare to be deviant type of year in terms of goal setting and stuff, is to, I will say, push the envelope, have a no excuses mentality to the corresponding recruiters and talent acquisitions people that I will meet and stuff, and basically dare to be deviant and have my own type of Liv Morgan revenge tour, basically the Gregory F. Liverpool revenge tour, in regards to some things that I should have had that to me, that which I did not have, and should have been afforded to me with my neurodiversity disability type of self and stuff. So that's my I will say my 2025 goal sharing in regards to that nature, because I will say in regards to how my resume has been handled, I will say that this should rise in terms of a reconciliation type of moment in time per se. So yeah.
That is a big undertaking, Gregory, and I know you've been struggling with stuff. I hope this revenge tour doesn't sound like a negative thing. I'm hoping that you come in kindness and grace, that maybe you weren't extended, because honestly, the one thing I will say is flies and honey and all the vinegar and stuff, right? You will get farther if you come with the hope of fixing. And so revenge and reconciliation, trying to Venn diagram them in my brain, it's a little tough, but I hope you find that center space to make this happen. Felipe, I'm going to come to you.
Yeah,
Did you read it, Melissa?
I have not been able to yet, Gregory. I'm working in retail right now, and it's Christmas, so I'm just a little bit behind.
Okay.
So, and Gregory, and I would echo with Melissa. It's about the mindset of what you want to do, because if the response that you're getting are not what you would expect, that's probably not the place you want to work with people, and that's not the right environment and the right crowd. My recommendation would be focus your energy on what you do want to find, and go out there and find it, and don't the revenge tour, as much as you might think you get satisfaction out of it, 9 times out of 10 you don't feel as good about it afterwards. So I think focus your energy on what you can accomplish and what you want to achieve, not on what you want to others to learn per se at this point, because I think that your energy is better served there. And it's, you're not alone. There's so many people that are in your same situation day in and day out dealing with this, and it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating, but the mindset, and Melissa and I talk about this a lot, is really where it's at. We have to have the right mindset if we are going to make a change, because doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is only going to drive us, bonkers. So
True,
thank you.
Felipe, Felipe, I understand that, but the thing is, not everybody is like Felipe. I'll say there's an 80-20 split, that the 20% of people who are in the HR field have the same type of mindset as you, but it's the 80% that basically ruins it for the 20% in regards to in terms of the HR mindset. For example, I was at a diversity forum and only 80 HR professionals showed up out of a body of over 2,000 in my branch of CPHR Manitoba, which was a telltale sign saying that we're all right, we're okay in terms of reaching out to marginalized groups in terms of employment opportunities. If you are, I will say, are you hitting 10% of your employment work pool as people with a disability? If so, I'll
Well,
tip
Gregory,
yeah.
hold on. I gotta say, we cannot assume just because people don't show up to an event that they're not engaging. They might be strapped financially and not have the money to afford people. Felipe might have a short staff because somebody's out for surgery and a death in the family. I have been running a skeleton crew at work because we had loss of life multiple times over in the same month to the same set of people that I work with. That is not because we're not engaging the customer, that we're not, fully staffed, or we don't care about the community we're servicing. It is life. It is business. It is function. And if we can't show grace in those moments to the people who are trying to make it happen day in, day out, when crap hits the fan in their lives also, then why would they listen to us? If you come to me and say, you're not being effective and I want it my way, and I tell you, listen, I am running a 24/7 event between coaching and retail and family, and I'm making it work to where the business is still open and functional and leading in metrics across the board nationwide, but I'm doing it with one person when I should have 3, and you're mad at me because I'm not making space for you. That tells me all I need to know about you as a teammate. You're not considering where I stand, but you're demanding I see it from your perspective. And I think that's where you close minds instead of opening them to you. Are you assuming why they're not in the room, or are you asking them, hey, I missed you at this event. I would love to have that conversation in spite of you not being there. Can we have a coffee chat? Because I think that's how I would move forward to try to have that conversation take place that I was hoping would have happened in the room where it happened. Felipe, I want you to comment back on that.
Yeah, because I think there's a good lesson here for everyone, because you made a good point there, is that we cannot make assumptions about other people, because at the end of the day, we don't want people making assumptions about us. Now, to that point, Gregory, I've been to a lot of HR events where they've been well attended and some have not been well attended. And I'd say 7 out of 10 times, it was because it was not promoted properly. It was not communicated out well, or it was done last minute. Or is done during a bad time, like the holidays when people are on vacation or the summer. So there is a number of reasons why. So I don't let that gauge you. And from my experience, I don't have the data to support this numbers 100%, but the 80-20, I would argue strongly that that's not an accurate number whatsoever. I would say that there's probably closer to 50-50. I'd like to think it's higher than that on the positive, but at the very minimum, 50-50, because I've worked with thousands of HR professionals in my 30 years, and I can tell you with 100% certainty that at least half of them are doing the right thing. It's the other half that are not doing the right thing or questionable. But the reality is, again, I've interviewed for places where I'm like, oh my God, you are some of the worst HR people I've ever encountered in my entire life. Guess what? I thank you. I don't want to work there anymore. I'm going to move on. And that's the mindset that I think we have to, again, remember is don't waste your energy on something that you can't change. Somebody else. Focus on what you can change. You don't want to be in that environment? Don't be in that environment. Find an environment that works for you. Just don't put yourself in a situation where you hurt yourself more than anybody else, because that's why I always say, and people can argue this with me all you want, I'm going to tell somebody, find another job before you quit, unless you are in mental or physical distress that you need immediate care. Find that job, get a job that pays the bills, and then resign from the other one so that you do not put yourself in that bad situation. So, Gregory, thank you for bringing up a great conversation. I appreciate that. We have Marcia Lee, who's been patiently waiting and changed devices. But these are the kind of conversations that we enjoy. So we want more of you all to come and join us. The link is in the comments of the event. And whether it's about careers, you need some coaching, or you want to just add a little bit to the chaos, because if Kenny's in the room, Kenny's always one who loves the chaos. But we want to make sure that we provide value, have a little fun, but address some of these hard-hitting issues that Gregory's brought up. So, Gregory, thank you again for your support. I'm going to be back here. And Marcia Lee, let's see if we can hear you now, because I am excited to have you on board. So, Marcia, the mic is yours.
What's happening? Can you hear me? Oh, you
yes,
can
we can hear you.
Going, hey, y'all, hey! Hey, y'all,
Woohoo!
Hey, welcome.
Don't mind me, y'all. Thank y'all so much. I love y'all so much. But you know what, baby, all these devices, you know what, sometimes it's overload, but I am my father's child. I figure it out. But anyway, Felipe and Sakia, baby, I'm soliciting real stream lessons, because I got to be on this platform like y'all. I got to continue my amplification. So send me a DM. Yes, I need lessons like yesterday. But as you all were talking, I was making notes. Felipe, I'm not like you. I don't, you know what? I'm not a Scrooge. I just got too much going on in my life to be decorating and all of that. So I go to other people to decorate. I wish I could send y'all a picture of my cousin in Philadelphia. Baby, your house is done from outside to inside, top to bottom floor. Felipe, you would really appreciate that. But anyway, so I don't, like I said, I'm not a Scrooge. I just don't decorate. But what I also wrote was, thank you for doing this. And I definitely got to keep my day job right now, because baby, that's paying the bills and giving me health insurance. See, I'm not stuck on stupid at all. But what I really want to work on in 2025 is several things. Number one, to amplify my LLC so I can start getting compensated, because I do need some, since I quit IKEA part-time, I do need some additional revenue stream. Again, I don't have a fake pride. My pride is not in my wallet. I would like to do some collaborations. I see a lot of people on this platform collaborate. But you know what? I'm going to make a sad face. Y'all can laugh, because nobody been wanting to collaborate with me. And I'm not going to be an author through a collaboration. But I do want to start writing something. I would be celebrating my 1-year anniversary of not drinking alcohol, which is what it just happened. I just didn't. When I started, it wasn't like I was going to quit. I was just going to quit for January, but I decided, I went through March, and I decided after March, I really had no purpose for drinking. I just realized, for me personally, that alcohol did not bring any, what's the word? It didn't bring any health benefits for me. And I'm a health and well-being amplifier. So I'm like, nope, that's it for me. I didn't want to be two-faced on the platform. Just my opinion. I definitely want to expand my public speaking. I had a chance to speak at a speaking competition for the first time in my life. Out of 10 people, I placed third, so I thought that was phenomenal. My sister was mad because she thought I should have placed first. I told her to get over it, because the old me would have been mad, but the revised 2.0 Marcia is very happy that she placed, because I wasn't even going to apply. And that's what I want to do. Definitely want to work on some things. I'm working on some things, more to come on that. Hopefully things will be coming to fruition for me, because I'm planning my work and working my plan. So to everybody on the platform who celebrates, I want everybody to have a phenomenal holiday season. And I wish you and your family a great holiday season. I wish people would start bringing more, some good energy on this platform, because we are on here to provide good energy. And people don't bring such good energy. It's a downer for me. So I just want people to continue to bring good energy on these platforms, because that's why Felipe and Melissa are here, and that's why everybody else on this platform is here. Thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you, Marcia. And I gotta say, Marcia, you're one of those people that when you say you're gonna do something, I know I believe it, because you have consistently taken action. When you learn something, you apply it. And I think that's a lesson that I want to continue to do for the rest of my life. Is I don't want to be afraid of learning. I don't want to be afraid of applying things. And as for the decorating, like sometimes the decorating, it's for me to get other people in the spirit, but I'd be lying if it wasn't to help me get into the spirit too. With all the negativity in the world and the year that we've had, a little positivity, if I can add that for myself too, as well as others, it's needed. So, Houston, what are your thoughts about Marcia's share?
I love her, and I would collaborate at any time. I just don't know what I could offer because I eat bad foods, and I don't drink a lot, but I do drink. But what I gotta say is I admire her because I admire you. Let me speak to you, not Felipe. I admire you because when you put your mind to something, you get it done. Whether it's nope, I'm not doing that anymore, and I mean it. You walk away, you're not coming back, or you decide, no, I am my father's daughter. I can get it done. Let me get it done. I love that because really that's what motivates me as my grandmother. Same mindset. I'm her granddaughter. If she could do it, I could do it. And if I didn't do it right now, what would grandma say? She would call me a name. She would tell me I was dumb or silly or stupid, and do it with love, guys. But she would make me realize you're silly to stop now because you have everything you need right in front of you. And it's really true because Marcia, you do. You are a firecracker. I would never want to close my hand around you because you will pop my fingers off to get out. But that's the energy to harness this year. Don't wait for collaboration. Make them come to you. Really. If I
Thank you
could
so
offer
much,
you anything,
everybody. Thank you,
because
Queen. I'm gonna
I
hop
will come to
off.
your stage if you want me to. Felipe, if you invite him as a guest, he will come. So maybe you host the mic and tell us to come.
Baby,
That's my
Felipe
advice.
is 100%. I love me some Felipe and y'all, because Felipe behind the scenes, he and Sumana, they have been very supportive. They know like the situation hasn't been 100% in my workplace. They are so phenomenal by offering
Yeah.
to, provide their services to my team. But unfortunately, they're not very receptive. But we're going to be positive because I'm bringing positive vibes. And Melissa, Sunday the 22nd is my father's 59th anniversary death, because he died when I was 3 years old. So I will be going on to the cemetery. So my mother said my father always was a fighter. He always got it done. And I don't want to get sad. My mother's birthday is December 23rd. So we're giving her a party because she'll be 94. And she said, this is what I want. And every year what she wants, she gets, because my sister and I make it happen. And my mother's phenomenal. So I want to give all the shout out to all my family members. And of course, my LinkedIn family too. I forgot to do that. Felipe, Melissa, Tony, so many other people that have helped me grow on this platform. So thank you. And I'm going to hop off.
Thank you for coming to our first ever restream version. I'm so glad you were part of it because we relish you. We really do. We love that energy. Felipe.
I ditto. And Marcia, I'm always so happy to see you. And I value our relationship and our friendship. And I'm so glad that we've gotten the chance to meet each other. Like, you're somebody who is a part of my life and my community, and I'm so grateful for that. And I just hope that people continue to just keep on trying to push yourself, get out of your comfort zone sometimes, try something new, because when you do, you never know what might happen. I never would have met these two amazing ladies on stage with me right now if I didn't get out of my comfort zone. So, and honestly, I think that this format here has been working so well. Yes, there's some bumps along the road, but it's a chance for us to learn something new. And I want to make sure that you all know that we still got 20 minutes left before we end this room, y'all. So if you want to, oh no, I'm sorry, not 20 minutes. We have 50 minutes left, right? Houston?
Yeah. I'm looking at the clock. There's a clock right here, guys. They don't do that in the audio. You have to watch the clock and math it, but we do it to our show. We're at the almost minute and 10 mark. We might just want to pause for a second and say, hey, if you guys don't know Felipe, if we're new to you, please go check him out. Because I'm gonna promote him this time. He is a pretty phenomenal HR guy who talks about both sides of the coin. the good stuff, the way you can progress your organization forward, some ideas and some wonderful concepts to bring back to your employees. But he also talks to the employees about the things that are going on inside and ways to communicate that upwards to those people who are talking to people like him to make it better. So a girl who likes a Venn diagram, you bring Felipe into the conversation and he can really be that mediator for HR purposes to help your organization grow. He can also help you grow. He does his own coaching and you can figure out what he helps you with, but really it's based on your career. And so if you're thinking about shifting and you know what you want to be when you grow up and you got all of that ready and you just need to know how to harness that power, go talk to this guy. We also do some give back. We give back to the entrepreneurship program with Wakabumi. And that actually was something that came up in my brain when we were talking about whether or not being in the room means you care, right? Because our organization just had their annual event. They did a huge promotion. The youth-led organizations that we're working with to grow their entrepreneurship mindset hosted an event, and we didn't show up. And it wasn't lack of want at all. It was professional careers keep us busy where we are. We don't have the flexibility to show up in all those spaces. The money that the nonprofit's generating, we do not want to use for airfare for us to come into the room. We would rather let those organizations utilize it to its full potential in other ways. That doesn't mean we don't care, right? And so it's perspective. Give back what you can. Never give more than you're willing to give or that will cost you too much, because what you can share matters and it will take them where they need to go. And then the others can pick up the torch from there. Get a good network, do that together. That's why Felipe and I are here. Felipe, I'm going to hand the mic back.
Well, that was a very appreciative intro for me, and I appreciate that. And I'm going to do the same thing for you. And this was not planned, y'all. So this is something that, it's very easy to talk about Melissa Houston because she is somebody who I've known for a couple of years now. And I've witnessed her coach other people to success. I have recently reached out to her and said to her, I need you to coach me right now. I need some coaching because I'm not in a good headspace. And she was there for me. She is somebody who is got the ability and the foresight to see and listen to someone's needs, understand what they want to achieve, and then help them get there ideally the way they want to. But she's going to be honest with them and saying, okay, this is the challenges you're going to run into if you do continue to do it the way you want to, or here's some other options that you can look at. But the final decision is yours. She's not the coach that's going to sit there and say, do it my way or I won't be your coach. No, she wants to help you achieve your dreams. She wants you to document them and then take action so that you can actually achieve them. Because the reality is, we can think about what we want to achieve all day long, but the magic happens when you actually achieve it and take action. And Melissa is that right person to help you do that. And I say that with 100% confidence. There's a lot of people that I wouldn't recommend. There's a lot of family members that I would not recommend. I love them, but I would not recommend them for the work they do because I know that they're not the best at what they do. Melissa is one of the best at what she does. So if you need that help, whether it's temporary, long-term, reach out to her. Because the other great thing about Melissa is if she's not the right person for you, she'll tell you. She'll say, you know what? I'm not the right person to help you through this, but I might know somebody who can. And that's the beautiful thing about the community of coaches is that we want to support each other. We're not trying to get in each other's lanes. We know what we do best, and we want to do it well. And I just got a notification. Guess what I got a notification for, Houston?
That you're
I'm waiting
my
for you to
favorite.
answer me.
I know. I'm trying to figure out a funny
what
thing to
happened?
say. I have nothing. Where are you? You can't
Wait,
hear
did I
me?
lose you?
I don't know. Did you lose me?
Melissa, you there?
What the heck? I'm here. I see I'm moving. Nobody can hear me?
Wait, I can't hear you if you can hear me.
Hold on. What the heck? Is that better? What's happening?
Right. I see the green light around your thing light up, but I don't know if that means that you're talking. So
Oh, sheesh.
I'm gonna try to leave the room and come back in. See if that
Can you hear
helps.
me now? Oh, man.
All right, can you hear me now? Oh wait, Melissa left. Wait, there she is.
Now,
All right, now can I hear you?
yeah.
All right, good. All right, so
Okay.
the last thing I said was I just got a notification. Do you hear me say that?
I did hear it, and I think the notification messed up because that's why I couldn't speak. I don't know.
No,
what
no, no, no.
happened.
I think I messed it up because I clicked on it because I got very excited because it says that I'm getting a package delivery between in about an hour from now, and it has a number of books in that package that's come in.
Oh my gosh, Felipe, can I tell you? Getting that book, and guys, I'm gonna go into our book real quick, okay? Because Felipe and I wrote in a few different series this year. One of them was an anthology about LinkedIn, our favorite platform, and just what we did here, and it was really cool. And it was my first experience writing. And then there was a second book, which was Legacy, and that one, I don't know about for you, Felipe, but it changed me. Like permanently reached into my soul, rearranged the house, went, this is what it looks like now. And I came back out and it looked like grandma's living room. I don't know. I don't know how else to put it, but it just helped me refocus on that space where I grew from. And when that book arrived and I was opening it up, I literally didn't have words. And that's hard to believe if you know Melissa Houston. But it was almost, it's going to sound odd, but it almost just felt like grandma was sitting in the room with me and we were both just taking in the moment. And I don't know how else to put that weight. So I recommend you go to a private space when you do this opening because I wasn't expecting it to feel the way it did. I have opened books before. I've already done this once, right? And it was 30 days before that we did this other book. And so I didn't expect it to hit. And I think you should have the tissues ready, maybe.
Oh, I mean, there's no question this book was more meaningful. The other one about LinkedIn was I was passionate about it. I was excited. This one, when I was writing it, I was using voice notes to get some of my thoughts down, and the tears started hitting me when I talked about my father's death. And I realized very quickly that I may not have fully addressed my father's death completely because I still have a lot of strong emotions about it as I was talking about it. But the other thing was, as I was writing what I valued about the lessons he taught me and what values I've carried on in my life and what values and legacy I want to leave for my children and my nieces and the future generations, it hit me like a brick. It was something that I, like you said, I did not expect it. And so after I wrote it, I was not in the best mental space as far as probably being open to writing, but I was definitely in the open mental space to be emotionally raw. And I think that's what helped me do it, because when the digital version came out, I will say that my wife, my mother, and my brother, two brothers, and my sister read it right away. My brother and I have not been talking for the last couple of months because of something stupid that he did. That's all I'll say. After he actually read it, and he wrote me a long text and says, I want to come by. I want to talk. I want us to get through this. I love you, and I want us to stay close as family. I don't want these rifts to cause us not to talk. And it was all after he had read the book, and he told me that. And it was one of those things where if what I meant, what I said when I wrote it, then I need to make sure that I take action and give these relationships a chance to grow. And that's what the value of family is. And for me, when I've seen these relationships in the past improve, I've been so grateful. No matter how much they may have pissed me off or wronged us, the fact that we were able to repair that relationship, there's something about family that just it's powerful, it's meaningful, and it's there for a reason. And if there's a chance to repair a relationship, I encourage you all to try to do it, because when you do, it can be life-changing. And this was what this book did for me. So I'm actually, I'll be honest, I did not think, when people say, oh, I'm going to give a copy of my book, I'm like, that just seems a little bit egotistical, like, oh, I'm going to gift you a copy of a book that I wrote. Like, I just didn't, I never felt comfortable. I'm putting a copy of this book in all my niece's children's stocking. And it's not like their main gift or anything. And we'll write an inscription in it specifically to them with my wishes for their future, because I'm hoping that they keep that they pass it on, and that at some level, some part of the family culture and faith that has helped our family throughout these difficult years, that they're able to carry it on through their years with their families. So it was powerful.
It is, right? And it's one of those things that I got to give a shout out to Nick, who published the books we were in this year, the Gifted Bipolar Writer. She had the foresight of making sure there's a few blank pages in the back, and not to ruin any kind of hints, but I know she's talked about it with some of the authors already. But I love the idea of, this is my version of what happened with my grandma, right? Like, my grandma had 7 or 8 kids, had 7 aunts and uncles. So she had 8 children. She had 1 million grandchildren. There were 17 of us when my great grandmother passed away in 92, and we have multiplied, right? We just kept growing. And so you can imagine how big the family is. And I can't speak for everybody in a family of that size, of all of the experiences, all of the mindsets, all of the perspectives in an eloquent way. It would have been messy in 2,500 words. And that's the gift we were given in the book. But to be able to tell my version of my life story in that experience with my grandma, who motivates me to be me, and then let them read it and maybe be motivated to help me write a book. I mean, in my dream life, I would love to see all the cousins come together with a version of the chapter like I wrote, of their own, right? And to have that to pass down internally, not even publicly, but just as a family. I think it would be so cool, because it's like having the letters and the books and the papers and the marriage decrees and whatever else in the Bible. I think that's a tradition that my family always had, was grandma had the family Bible, and we'd always put snippets of haircuts and whatever else in there. And I don't know if we were alone. In the comments, you guys, if your family had something similar, or a box or a treasure trove, please, let us know. But I think this is part of that, right? My grandma had a hope chest. This is one of those things I would love to sneak into a space like that for family, and to be able to maybe call them to lunch or dinner and make it a memory, right? Maybe you say, hey, I want to hang out. Do you have some time? And then give them the book at the end and say, I've really valued this, but I also want to make sure I send you home with a piece of me. That would be so cool this season. Don't just give the gift. I mean, make the phone calls. I read my aunt my chapter by the phone, and then I mailed her a copy using Amazon, just a gift. But I made sure the memory was there first, that I could read it in my own voice to her, and then give her the gift directly in 2 days, right? And so think about how you want to give this gift. It doesn't have to be traditional. You can have fun, and it could be as simple as a card, guys. You don't have to go to a publisher to make this happen. You could have that card that gets tucked away in that space your family uses, but be mindful, be meaningful. It matters way more than that thing you find on sale at your favorite local store, right? And I say that as somebody who works retail. It's going to matter more if you include the card. So be mindful. Felipe?
No, I totally agree. And I think that the book is, when I'll be honest, I have not been able to reread it myself yet. Even the digital copy, Michelle, my wife, had to read it. I was tearing up because I started off talking about my father again, and so I'm like, it's like, can you read it please out loud so I can hear what it sounds like, because I have not been able to read it all the way through yet, and to this day, I still have not read it myself. So I think I'm gonna try to do
I would
that.
love for you to read me your story when you're ready.
All right, I have to get through a few practice versions before I read it.
No, you can cry if it's me. We could do it not live. But honestly, that's what I did. I had my publisher read it, and then I had a couple of really close people to me either listen or read it, and just have it happen. There were a few times I read it to my husband and kiddo. We were waiting for AAA because my husband's car wouldn't start. There was an issue. And while we waited for the tow truck, I read it to them, and my voice cracked. and I cried and I paused and I wiped the tears and then I got back to it. But at the end, I was told whether they knew your grandma or not, they're going to get emotional because of their grandma or their
Exactly.
moment or their person. And then if they do know your grandma, they're going to laugh and cry. Right. And so just stuff to think about. Just be emotional, guys. I'm part of the emotional women. I haven't mentioned it yet, but I'm really a big fan of emotions and there's cause behind it. And if you talk about the emotions, you'll realize it's because it matters. Right. It just matters.
And
So
honestly, like I said, it inspires us to do different things. I finally finalized my children's book that I wanted to write when my daughter was born 25 years ago. And because this legacy thing is thought about, what a great little gift I can give that hopefully maybe my grandkids might get this book read to them one day. And it's about their parents, you know, and how cool would that be? And then the last thing that inspired me, which is long term, which is really long at the bottom of the bucket list, but I definitely want to try to do it, is I'd love to write my father's life story. I think he had the most profound, amazing life of anyone in our family. And the fact that there's no one that has done that, I feel like I don't want to lose some of that history of what he accomplished and what he achieved, and the legacy that he's left is because of him. I mean, he was, when you have that family matriarch or patriarch in the family that really was the one that held them together, that led them through difficult times, that got them through, you know, migrating and immigrating to a different country and starting all over, and just those are the people that you want to hear about. You want to hear about those stories. Sometimes they're the quiet, silent, you know, heroes that people are like, oh yeah, they were amazing. They were just always there. They're always strong, but no one really heard their stories. So that's kind of the inspiration I have. But Houston, I think that I think 90 minutes might be our time limit for this new format, because I feel like it's a good amount of time, especially for the first one. What do you think?
well, I mean, if you're ready to call it, we could call it. But I do want to say, I think there's a lot of people listening right now because for those who are listening, they're quiet in the chat, but they're listening profoundly in it. And I think there's something to be said about that. So I think it's up to them. I think the chat should get live if you want us to keep going. If you're ready to wrap, give us a heart. But reality is, this is that season where we should be reflecting. It's the end of the year. That's what the show is about. It's the things we've lost, right? The new people around the tree. There might be new relationships. I know you talk about how there's people that are not part of your original family that hang out a lot. You know, your daughter has people in her life now, and you know, my son has children, so there's people in his life now that I didn't know before. And I think it just evolves every year. And take stock in the good and the bad, right? It's both at the end of it all. And the bad taught you to be stronger, and you can teach from that bad to the people behind you, next to you, the friends you're meeting. It doesn't matter if it's family or not. And I think that's something else to really contemplate this year. How are you using what you learned? Are you going to replicate the same bad choices? That's okay. I will keep eating cheese in amounts that my doctor will probably be upset about. It's okay. That's fine. I am going to watch other things, though, maybe less fried foods to offset my cheese intake, right? And so that's a choice for me for my health. Doesn't mean I'm giving up the gummy worms. That's a balance. But maybe some of those other negative behaviors, things like keeping relationships that aren't always helpful, I won't feed them anymore. They're not going to be cut off, but maybe I'll wait for them to engage me instead of me engaging them if it's not something that I find beneficial in the long run, right? Things to think about. Your job, is it the right balance for what you're trying to grow into? We've had people talk about that on the stage today, and I think these are things everybody should be asking. And you and I have asked this year. We are coaches. We give advice left and right. And how much assessment did you get done in the past 12 months? I mean, let's talk about your shifts real quick. How many different changes did you have this year? You changed jobs, right? Felipe, are you there?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
No, a lot of shit. I mean, changed jobs,
Medical, family stuff, shifting.
dealt with medical stuff for my brother, going through cancer treatment. My mother, hip replacement, almost died. Had some other things happen with the kids. I mean, just It's one of those things where, like, I think when I said I wasn't in the best mental place, a small straw finally broke the camel's back, where I'm like, okay, I need to take care of myself. I need to focus on myself, because if not, I'm gonna more than just snap. Or like the camel's more than gonna break. I'm gonna snap. I don't want to get to that point. And so I had to make that self-awareness where I'm making my mental health and physical health a priority over everything right now, because I had to. But those moments in time, family, friends, this LinkedIn community here got me through it more than I ever thought they could have. And that's one of those things where if you suffer silently, those are the ones I worry about the most sometimes, because when people don't know that you're suffering, they don't know that you need help. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask for help and say, I need help, whether that help is I need help by just being left alone, or I need help because I need to talk to somebody. I told my wife, I said, I feel like everyone was pulling at me. Every time I walked through the house, somebody needed something from me. And she was amazing. I walked through the house and someone's like, oh, since you're up, can you check? And my wife's like, no, what do you need? I'll get it for you. What do you, don't bother. He's busy. Leave him alone. And she just, that little effort there gave me just a sense of like, okay, I can't rely on her, but God, I appreciated that support right there in that moment. So when you can do that for somebody or do it for yourself, take that time. It's important, because achieving goals, especially if you're pushing yourself, can be challenging. You don't want to push yourself to the brink of overload or burnout.
I love that. And honestly, oh gosh, Marcia, you beat me to it. I just saw the comment. Closed mouths don't get fed. And that's so true, because he spoke up and said, this is what I need. I'm gonna be honest, guys, when I was writing this last chapter, I kept running into hurdles myself, right? For those of you who don't know, my retail environment lost an employee in a motorcycle accident the morning of Halloween. Before the sun even rose, he was gone. And my team found out. They actually were helping the hospital and the state patrol identify him, because the bike was so new, it wasn't registered to his name. The accident made his personal effects scattered. They could not identify him by ID. And so it was hard, because they had to figure it out. They knew the bike was identified and it was a unique situation. And so they were like the Scooby-Doo squad, and they tracked it down. They went to the hospital. They brought parts of the bike and said, we know the owner. You're going to let us help you figure this out. And they did. And they're young, 20-something-year-old kids who cared that much about their community. But that's the thing, is if you have a community, and if you don't have one, get one. And there's a million ways to do it. And this is why I bring it up, is they held on to each other. And then they spoke to their boss, me, and said, this is what I need. I need time. I need to not be here. I don't want to stand in a motorcycle shop after this happened. And I was able to facilitate that. Felipe said, hey, I need to not be bothered by X. And his wife stepped in. As somebody who knows he's a little ADHD bunny from time to time, as one myself, I can see him. I know that even that small hey, as you walk through a room, can erase the entire math problem you had in your brain on that whiteboard. And the whiteboard disappears when somebody says something. It's not a genuine whiteboard, right? And so it is hard to refocus. And if you've ever been in an environment with other office employees, or even like if you have that interruption, it's a distraction that can really change everything. And then depending on the level of distraction or the need of the ask, it can really pull you away from a lot of things. And so, Felipe, I just acknowledge my bestie, Michelle over there. She laughed as soon as I call him out. I love that she laughs at her husband with me. And genuinely supports him also, right? But I love that she showed up for you, because when you know people well enough that they tell you, hey, I'm not in a good space. Like if Felipe tells me I'm not in a good space, this is HR. They run on chaos. So when Felipe is not okay, if Melissa's not okay, it's not a normal day. It's like when the Navy SEAL is in trouble versus the regular infantry, right? There's a difference. And I'm not saying that because I think big of us, but I do think we push beyond a lot of things. We have a lot of tools, most don't, because we practice this a lot. And so when we hit the wall, when the Navy SEALs need a rescue, who do they call on? Do they have other people? Or is there somebody above them watching going, or behind them watching going, hey, I can tell you're in trouble before you can tell you're in trouble. Let me call you on it. And so find your people. And if you don't have some, start investing in them, right? If you need somebody now, just say, I don't have people, but I'm in a spot. I know people in this network who will just jump in anyway and be like, we'll be your people. What do you need? What do you got? Felipe, I just love this conversation. And I think it's important because as much as we're talking about the holidays, they get lonely. As much as we're talking about business, it gets hard. As much as we're talking about goal setting, there's hurdles. We wouldn't need to have goals if it was that easy, right? It would just happen. And so this is the other side of it.
And that's why I love that this room is recorded now, because people can go back and listen to this conversation and hopefully know that they're not alone. I listen, I do need to get going, you all. I have some commitments that have just come up suddenly. So we are going to end the room a little bit earlier today than planned. But, this is one of the things that I hope that you all know, that Melissa and I's commitment to giving back, to helping, whether it's with your careers, coaching with the goals, with life, that we are here for you and we are not going to give up. And whether we're going through our own struggles or not, we're going to pass on what we learned. But at the end of the day, we have a lot to share and we want to be able to do that. We do it with Wakabumi, we do it with clients, we do it with loved ones, and we want to do it with our community here. So you two have really been, you all have been really supportive and amazing of what Melissa and I have created here. And Marcia, I just want to put you coming up here. It's very kind of you. You said, or no, last year you had 2 coworkers pass away. They had grief counseling. They were kept the office open. A nonprofit DC suspended their services to the public temporarily to allow the employees properly grieve for loss of a beloved company member. And I think that is something that is so important, because at the end of the day, I've always said, people, when someone were to pass away at work, they're going to repost that position and replace that person most likely. Your family will not, because it's a human being. So when the workplace, like Marcia just shared, can recognize that the people in this workplace had a connection with another human being and they deserve to grieve, that's important. And we have to remember that, because
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to the organization I'm with, because they allowed us not only to close for a vigil 7 days after the initial crash, they sent funding to do a bike meet in his honor, and they let us just do it up. There was no limit to what I could spend on this event. And that was a kindness that, I mean, just even speaking about it, I have chills right now. But the other aspect of it is that night we lost another rider on the way home. And so, like, it's so hard. You just have to be ready to figure it out. And as much support as a corporation can give, there's also a limit to what I could do as far as balance, right? And so we just covered the team from there. But find your balance, guys. If you're leaders, figure out where your people are and find them where they're able to rise to, and comfortably. Because I was grateful to be in that space telling people, no, you need better gear. How do you actually ride? Let's go look at this airbag. And take care of riders while my other people were grieving. And so I think it matters, but those conversations, that's where it starts. And having them here, having them at home, having them in business is where it's really at, because without them, and without approaching it with kindness and empathy and understanding and an ability and willingness to communicate from both sides, to hear both sides before we decide what to do next. I think that's where it's at. And so, Felipe, I'm so glad we get to do this together. I'm going to go ahead and shut up now so you can go. But guys, come back in 2 weeks. We're going to do this again. And if you have a topic idea, let us know. We're ready to do it.
Yeah. And so 2 weeks is the 29th. So that will be our pre-New Year's Eve Felipe might get bonked on the head. Who knows? And it might be on video this time. Who knows? We'll see. But other than that, the only other thing I have coming up tomorrow, I'm supposed to be posting a workplace wellness end of the year live video. We always do end of the year video intentionally. I need to confirm that my co-hosts are both still available because I have been a little bit delayed in communicating with them lately. So that's on me. This past couple weeks have been crazy, but things are
You
going
tell
next.
Sumana I said hello specifically. Ashley also, but Sumana and I chit chat.
I will. I will. But other than that, we have Social Saturday Chat that we've continued on this format as well on Saturdays. So join us next Saturday for that. And then Melissa and I will be back on the 29th for another amazing Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. We're going to play some outro music because we can now with this new format. And don't judge me on the if it's bad. I'm just learning which songs they have available.
You guys can judge him. We're practicing, but it's for your entertainment.
Have a great Sunday. And if we don't see you all, have a great holiday. Everyone stay safe and enjoy each other's company and love each other and be with your friends and family. Adios, everyone.
Bye, guys.